Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Hello. So I'm Jim, this is Jim. Everybody say hi, Jim. Hi. Where are the Jims? So we've got a local podcast. Yeah, Fright Reels. FrightReels.com, check it out. So Fletcher asked us to come here and be a part of introducing this. I'm also on Cool Cat Radio, and we're sort of with Cool Cat, we're in league with the Palace here, with Fletcher as well. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We're talking about having another one at around Halloween with some more film festivals and stuff like that. So we want to thank you guys all for being a part of it. Thank all the vendors. Thank our excellent DJ. That was awesome hearing that music. And thank Fletcher and everybody for putting it on. So let's give a round of applause to everybody for keeping this together for us. So Jim and I are just local horror movie fans. Like I said, we do a podcast. We just got started. We've got about 10 episodes on there. We do some video and stuff like that. So check it out. We handed out some cards. And but we're not here for that. We're here for Jimmy.
We're here for Tom Sullivan.
Tom Sullivan from the Evil Dead. He's coming on up. Let's hear it for him. Without whom none of this would be possible. Tom, we're going to hand you a microphone. If you don't mind, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Excellent. Yeah, you got to get your gear on, right? Put on the uniform. Has anybody met Tom before? I was on Cinema Wasteland quite a bit, and he's been to a lot of the show. Let me hand you off a microphone.
Oh, hello everybody, can you hear me? Oh, yes. And I'm honored to be here. And I've been meeting a bunch of you, and I hope to get some more later. And we're going to do a Q&A. All my answers, no math. I'm ready for the answers. I know all the answers. I'm great for the answers.
So you met Sam Raimi in college. How was that for you, right?
I knew just upon meeting him that he was a real special character. First of all, he's like one of the three Stooges. He was always coming on, very funny guy, very approachable, likable, and funny. And also it was clear when he got to talking about movies, he was an encyclopedia, is an encyclopedia of film technique. He had his own take that really shows in his movies. He knew how to, all the tricks, how to get an audience's reactions. He called it torturing the audience, building up expectations, and then fucking with them. And like one of his little mantras was, in the early part of the film, you got to hit the audience in the forehead with a sledgehammer. In the case of Evil Dead, that would be the vine attempt. And there's other little lessons where the innocent must suffer, the guilty must be punished, and you must taste blood to be a man.
So you set the bar for special effects and makeup. How did you get your start?
Well, I saw King Kong, it was the first half of it when I was 5 years old, and I was hooked on movies.
I noticed that you did a lot of stop action as well.
Yeah, a little stop motion as soon as I could afford a $20 8mm camera. I taped it to a TV tray because I couldn't afford a big expensive tripod. And filmed my little clay things and my little major Matt Mason, which is a wire Richards astronaut. And just kept up with it. And by the time I met Sam, I had a mask, Halloween mask company for one Halloween. Did like a Conehead from SNL, werewolf mask, witch mask, and some other things. And sold latex and spirit gum remover and all that. And so I had some basics in mold making and things like that. And so when my married days with Penny, I went to Michigan State, and I read about the MSU Creative Filmmaking Society. It was thing Sam had discovered was that was Sam's organization, well, it was him. And he found that if you lived on campus, as a student at MSU, you could rent a auditorium like this for $30 to help encourage student-led activities.
Was it you then that snuck all the Spartan gear onto the movies? There were people who were wearing Michigan State shirts and...
Oh no, that's all Sam. And he showed his Super 8 movies in junior high and high school, all screwball comedies like Attack the Helping Hand, character named Cover, and a thing called Happy Young Kid, which was Rob Tapper, he was producer, doing a little shooting, school shooting. He got tortured as a kid, and and goes to school, and he's like the guy you want to pick on. And Sam Raimi played the guy you pick on. But he goes kind of Columbine. And then they were trying to do sound effects for a movie called It's Murder, a feature-length Super 8 comedy, mystery day. And they were doing sound effects at 4 in the morning off the campus apartment, even though they had duct taped one of their mattresses to the wall. Yeah, to dampen the sound of the neighbor. It didn't work. And they got kicked out. That kind of like screwed up their whole finances for college. So Sam decided to throw all of his efforts into a big boat, and that's made a horror film. In those days, you had drive-ins all over the country who needed at least 3 movies a weekend. And so a horror film could always be the second or third film. And so that was guaranteed. So we came up with Book of the Dead. Book on, you've heard about it in Egyptian war mythology class or something. And I thought it was good to set that. If you have book in the title of a motion picture, word for it, kids might think they're expected to read at some point during the movie.
Nobody wants that.
And they won't show up in the theater. So Sam asked all of us for title suggestions. And my first was, in kind of words, Sex Bad Must Kill. And the other was Lick the Blood Off My Shovel, one of my favorite descriptions. And they did go with that. The agent came up with Evil Dead, which I thought was a stupid mishmash.
It works, though, right?
And of course, it's iconic.
I had a question about, so between, obviously the first one, you guys are on a budget, you're getting to make all the special effects with whatever you can get your hands on. And then between that one and the second one, the money got better, I assume. The special effects got better. And I just was wondering sort of how excited you were, or what kind of different opportunities you had in 2 that you couldn't realize in 1 due to constraints.
Well, on the first film, I had the script for 2 weeks before we started shooting, which the effects guys just killed me now. Fortunately, I'm a genius, so it all worked out. But 2 weeks is about enough time to go through the script, figure out how you might do the various effects, what materials you might need to make them, and then get a little code I could get done. I had a cast of the acting of Shelley, Scotty, and Cheryl, and just a front face plastic cast. And didn't even want a Bruce. He just had bruises. And then I assembled the book with 10 illustrators. Sam didn't need an illustrator. She was from the cover. And his, in the script, the description of the book was a book in some kind of leather with a few letters of an ancient alphabet on it. And I had seen a film called Equinox, and that's a description of the book in that film. And plus, being an artist and an illustrator, I want, one of the things about illustration or advertising especially, is they know that you look at something and you make up your mind about it in about a second and a half. And so I asked Sam, this is a book about evil. This is an evil book. How's that? And so I said, well, if you look at it, I wanted to make it so you wouldn't want to pick it up. You just go, this is repulsive. And at the time, one of the most disgusting things I heard humans doing was a woman named Ilsa Coates and I wasn't going to put a schlong on the cover, even though I had a lot of books, it was a bad idea.
Truth is scarier than fiction. Right?
And so I decided to use a face, and so I took a mold, I think out of Hal Delrich's mold, and glued that on a piece of cardboard, filled it up with some nice cardstock parchment card, and glued it together. The binding was grocery bag paper, because it looked kind of leatherish, something I learned in the second grade. And then during the production, I'd sit around the dinner table at night with Josh Becker, their second lead camera guy, and we'd smoke pot, my pot, and I would draw, and he would talk movies, and you don't want to get into an argument about movies with Josh. And I needed to draw and add as much to the production as I could, and a lot of that got in it. For example, when Shelley gets stabbed with the dagger, and there's a close-up of the skull bleeding, puking blood, I had come up with that idea the night before we shot it. And so I thought, I could just drill a hole through its mouth, stick a tube to the back, and walk up to Sam on the day to shoot. He said, just here, have somebody blow blood through it, and get a low-angle shot of it, and it's in the film. And the finale of the film was another thing. Sam wanted me to make some balloon bodies of Scotty and Cheryl, and fill them with smoke, and have them deflate. And all I could think of is somebody's going to blow raspberries doing that. And somebody would see that and come back to the next show and do it just to get the laugh. And plus, when I think of a finale, I used a fireworks, 4th of July as an example. You know, boom, boom, ah, boom, boom, ah. And then the finale is like a war. You know, bang, 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 bang. And I thought, with all the gore in Evil Dead, that's what the finale should be like. So I came up with this idea of a sequence using clay animation, and I sold it to Sam. I did like 8 or 9 storyboards of it, and sold it to Sam. He had seen The Time Machine, the George Pal film with Rod Taylor, where at the very end, the time traveler is attacked by some Morlocks and cave people from the future. And kills one, knocks him against the wall, breaks his neck, and he jumps into his time machine and pushes the lever forward, so he's speeding through time to escape the attack. And as he looks over, there's only 2 or 3 shots of this Morlock disintegrating via the animation. Eyeball falls out, skin comes off, bones crumble, and the head falls down. And I sold him on that, and he knew a guy named Bart Pierce, and who also liked stop motion. Knew a lot about camera work, and he put us together, and we moved off and worked it out. We even made it a little more elaborate, double exposed every frame. We filmed 2 shots, and then we wind frame to smooth out the animation. And then we also had a split screen where we would film before the face and have everything around it, the hair and forehead and stuff, all blacked out, painted on a piece of glass. And if you don't expose, if you're filming black, that's like unexposed film. So we can then film the clay animation part, and then paint out the front of the face, and remove the back part, and then have live action fall and some little live.
Practical Photoshop.
Yeah, right. In the camera, so we saved lab costs on that. And we did a test, and Sam liked it. And then Bart and I came up with a sequence for like 33 or 4 shots, and filmed all of them. And 1 or 2 got dumped because it was just too gross, and which I don't have. And
I mean, he's right. That set the bar for it, man.
Yeah.
You guys invented sort of full-on gore, steady cam, sort of handheld action, and just, it's absolutely brilliant. But let's get right into it. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right, you guys all ready for the movie? Let me hear you say yeah. Can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a fuck yeah? All right, without any further ado, thank you to Tom one more time, guys. He's going to be here the rest of the night. We'll get a chance to talk to him. We're going to kick things off with the event. Thank you all.
just get shot.